liberty, and justice for all. Good morning. Welcome to this March 18th Board of Commissioners meeting. First item is public comment. Do I have anyone here that would like to speak for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. I have Jason from Good Oil for right-of-way access. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning, commissioners and staff. My name is Jason Neighbors. I represent the Good Oil Company. I'm their director of construction. We're seeking access to your guys' right-of-way off of the county's right-of-way off of the new County Road 800. We're looking to put up two directional signs that will improve traffic flow onto your new county road into the roundabout. I've got some representations here for you guys on exactly where we'd like to put them. So it's where we'd like to put them is to the east of the new C-store on the new county road. They're basically directional signs that'll send traffic out onto the new county road. There's representations of the signs. They're 4x8 post-construction, dual-faced. So it basically just encourages traffic to go out onto the county road versus going out on the SR 28 and sending people back around the roundabout.
Yep. Any questions?
No, I have none. Looks okay to me.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So make the motion that we accept the proposal of the signs effective this morning
Allow access to the right-of-way.
to the right of way.
Yep. I'll second. All right, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Good to go. Thank you.
very much.
Next, we have Melinda Grismer with a interlocal agreement for public transportation services. Good morning.
There's a whole group of us this
Okay.
morning, so
Well-
Jan, you want to join as well?
You can have the whole group go out
We have a
there.
whole group going.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi. So I will start, but just wanted to, so I'm, my hat at the moment is my Purdue hat. So I'm managing a grant that's called the College and Community Collaboration Initiative for Purdue, which is a $25 million Lilly investment into the 7-county region. Clinton is one of them. And we're working on childcare and transportation. And this ask is about transportation under our transportation pillar. City Bus is one of the partners in our grant, and City Bus has requested permission to operate outside of their normal Lafayette MPO, and they've received that permission even before we applied for the grant, which was in August of '23. And now we're going around to all of the 7 counties to ask for that reciprocal permission to operate in those counties. And the reason for that is a city van pool. What we're trying to do is, and I'll let Craig go into this in a little more detail, but what we're trying to do is we have up to 49 vans, Enterprise vans, that's why Craig's here from Enterprise, that are going to be free for the use of our basically first come, first serve, up to 49 van pools that can operate in all 7 counties for employers or nonprofits that need to use them. So they can be used for anybody. Unfortunately, I thought about childcare, but they have to be 18 and older. So we can use it for childcare for the providers, but we can't use it for anyone younger than 18. So initially, Shan had talked to Indiana Packers about potentially using this van pool to transport between Carroll and Clinton, for instance, with employees that need transportation. We all know that transportation is a major issue. It came up again in our child care summit, how big of an issue it is. It's just under, we don't have the capacity that we need. So that's one of the things this grant is trying to do, is offer up for 3 years vans that can be used for employers to transport employees that need transportation. I'll give you real quickly an example of one that's working right now in Lafayette. Tactile Engineering is a company that has actually produces products for the deaf and the blind, and they have deaf and blind employees that need transportation. So a sighted captain goes through an entire route and picks up those deaf and blind individuals that work at that company, and they're able to then get transportation. So it's ride sharing, it's carpooling, but what's nice is the captain actually gets to use that van for his or her own personal use. 20% of the time they can park it at their own location, or they can park it at the facility, and then 80% of the time it needs to be used for that purpose of picking up employees and helping out with rural routed transportation. So the permission to operate agreement, which I believe you all been sent, but I also brought a copy of it in case you want to pass it around and look at it. It's been signed in 4 of the 7 counties, and if you guys would sign it today as an agreement, it would be number 5. White County and Carroll County are currently working on the same process that you are. But I brought Craig along so he could answer questions about how the van pool works, so. Craig.
Hi all. My name is Craig. I work with Commute with Enterprise, but as Melinda had alluded to, it's essentially just a more equitable form of transportation for employees to get to and from work, where we're finding that more employers who are in more rural communities are having challenges with recruiting or retention of employees. So it is a win-win when we really start to think through it for the employer and the employees.
Okay.
Happy to answer any questions as they come up.
Questions from the board?
Good point. No.
So on the 7 counties, which if we sign today, that would be 5, right? We'd be waiting for 2 more.
Be number 5, yep.
Is it have inter-county transfer as kind of your example you alluded to? So someone from, it could take from Clinton to Carroll or Clinton to one of the others, not just to Tippecanoe County?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And will it bring to Clinton as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the challenge with IPC. They got a lot of employees that, go back and forth from Carroll to Frankfurt. And that was one of the examples that we worked with Melinda on, that it would make a lot of sense for them. And probably, well, not probably, I met with Frito-Lay last week. They would be very interested in using this as well.
Okay. And it provides, there's no investment from Clinton County, nothing tied, just interlocal to be able to basically come across jurisdiction lines is what the interlocal's for.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
and it can be used for up to 3 years, and then at year 4 and 5 of the grant, it will kind of increase in, like, the cost will have to be shared by the employer, but it's really not fully, the cost is not fully borne by the employer until year 5. So
Okay.
it's really a nice trial period. It's not just a year.
Yeah.
It's several years.
Is 25 the first year?
24 was.
24, okay,
the first
okay.
year, yeah.
All right, great. Any other questions from?
No.
the board? All right, do we have a motion to move forward?
I'll move to approve the interlocal agreement between, or the Greater Lafayette Public Transportation Corporation between Tippecanoe County and Clinton County.
No, second that.
All right, motion carries 3-0. We'll get a signed copy here. Do you need it right now, or can we get it after the meeting?
Later is
All right,
fine. Thank
we'll
you so
do that.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She may want to clipboard back.
Oh, yeah,
Do we have a time for the mowing bids? Tom, do you?
Say 9:15 is,
9:15?
is that right?
Okay, so, we have 5 minutes, so we'll circle back to this. We have Rick Campbell with a highway update. Morning, Rick.
Morning. Clinton County was awarded, Clinton County Highway Department was awarded $1.5 million for community crossings this year. So we do Mulberry Jefferson Blacktop, and we'll do Gasline Road.
How many miles of road will that be roughly?
You got me there, 6 miles, 6
Six.
or 7 miles.
Okay, 6 miles. So just to add some context to it, we received community crossings, which is $1.5 million, 75-25. So the county's contribution is roughly $500,000 towards that. So we received $2 million of road paving for essentially $500,000 of cost to Clinton County to do so. And this is our 9th year in a row, I believe.
Yes.
Roughly 9. The last 2, we've received 1.5, which is the maximum you can receive. Before that, we were receiving roughly $1 million each year.
Good job.
The guys started spreading gravel roads yesterday. The graders are out and the patchers are out. And we had some trees down over the weekend. The guys was busy cleaning some trees up. So that's pretty much all we got. Wanted to invite the commissioners to a demonstration of a new type of mower, bush mower, that we're going to have at the Highway Barn Friday at 12 o'clock. They want to demo this new mower. It's a boom mower, but it's not on a tractor. It's an actual machine itself. So
Oh, it's all one machine.
it's all one machine, but you can also put different attachments on it. But I'm just interested in the mowing part of it.
Okay.
So
Is that, gas line, is that all the way from Mulberry to
yes,
Farmer Gravel?
to 200. Yes,
Okay.
yes. It may run over a little bit. We may have to spend a little bit more, but we got the money, so we're going to fix it.
Okay, good.
That's all I got.
Any other questions?
I've had some phone calls about Clinton Central's blacktop going east and west. And
Yeah,
you'd mentioned that you've been working on it.
Yeah, we got some ideas and talk with the commissioners later about what we want to do with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Rick. Next, we have Liz with a area plan update as well as LUPAC 325-387, and that would be ordinance 2025-01.
Perfect. If you don't mind, let's take care of the LUPAC first.
Okay.
So as you noted, it's LUPAC 03-25-387. This is a favorable recommendation being submitted to the county commissioners from the Area Plan Commission regarding rezoning 5 acres of land from the agricultural zoning district to the neighborhood business zoning district. This is specifically a church here as you go northwest of town on Mulberry Jefferson. Church has been there for some time. There used to be a church-operated daycare there. As was previously mentioned in the meeting, we have a great need for childcare for employers within the community. And United Way is going to be renting space in that church. That's like what they'd like to do, and operating under a lease, which is not a religious accessory use. So in order to do that, they have to have their own set of approvals. And part of that is the rezoning. Neighborhood business pretty significantly limits intense businesses. It's designed to be near houses. The church remains a permitted use, and then there's a path to approval for the daycare as well. So having heard this, the Plan Commission would favorably recommend granting the rezoning to the Clinton County Commissioners.
Okay. Any additional questions?
I'm good.
or Concerns?
Yeah,
All right.
Thanks, Liz.
Yeah, and we did not have any objectors present at our meeting.
Nope, makes a lot of sense. So, and as you mentioned, is needed. So I'll entertain a motion to approve LUPAC 0325-387.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second it.
All right, motion carries 3-0. That is approved.
So then, yeah, as normal, when all the paperwork's signed and finished up, just get it back to them.
Yep.
So, the second item I have is, as we often do over the winter, we work our way through kind of reviewing our violations, seeing what's at what status. And we had emailed you guys, I think a few weeks ago, letting you know that we'd sent a letter to a violation at 2203 South 1300 East. That's Trent Newton. Some of you would remember this case. Just to give you a real brief history, this was owned by a bank in May of 2019, at which point they had requested electrical. We'd realized it was an illegal split and was not fit for occupation, so we denied that. In October of 2019, that property sold from the bank to Trent Newton. The last time the commissioners discussed it was in February of 2020, and at that time, Trent was working on making progress towards trying to get the property legalized for occupation. In July of 2020, a septic was installed, but it wasn't okay for use yet because it did not have a perimeter drain installed yet. A lot size variance was also obtained from the Board of Zoning Appeals, which was the first step towards trying to legalize it as a building lot. But then at that point, it kind of stalled out. It needs a recorded easement to the county tile, which so far they've been unable to obtain. And as a result, there's no, at least I presume as a result, there's no subdivision filing because we would not approve a subdivision that didn't have a perimeter drain outlet or a variance from the health department, one or the other. The variance has since expired. Obviously, COVID hit everybody, and it's been a hot minute, but this is one of those unsafe building violations that we'd like to try to get resolved, whether the commissioners wish to start levying fines. This has been, it is a declared unfit, and it's got a condemnation placed on it that the commissioners did choose not to lift. It is not occupied, but we have had some zoning violations there with junk vehicles. I think some of that's been cleaned up. And obviously, the structure has not been addressed, and it's been a number of years. So I think we're at a point of what your pleasure is, whether you want to move forward with a posting to tear down, whether you want to fine. But to try to get some movement to either get this thing occupiable or resolve it. So I think that's the basic gist. I think there may be some people here, both complainants and owners. Everybody was notified
Okay.
that may want to speak as well.
All right, we'll give them an opportunity to speak. I'll have to have you go to the podium, or do you need us to bring the?
same thing.
Do you? We can bring it to you.
the mic.
We can bring you the mic, or
That's okay.
we'll have her go first, and then I'll let you go second.
Good morning. I'm Emily Bonecutter Newton, and I'm Trent's wife, so here to speak on our behalf this morning. Yes, a lot has transpired since I think originally there were some requests for some permitting and things. COVID did happen, and I think the main holdup, we did get the perimeter drain completed, but the main holdup is getting the sign off from the owner for the easement. I think getting a farmer to sign an easement is not a super easy thing. Unfortunately, the farmer that we were working with for that has passed away. So we now have to kind of start over with a new owner, and it's Total Seed out of Tipton. So if we could have a little more time, that's definitely, we still want to get the property rehabbed, get the property up for occupation. And we will work toward getting that easement signed off on if we're allowed some more time.
How much more time would you like?
I mean, we would like to have it wrapped up by the end of the summer, but if we could have up to a year, that would be fantastic.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. All right, we'll allow some other people to speak, and then we circle back to you. Thank you, Liz.
Yeah. I'm the former property owner. Well, no, actually, I'm married to the property owner, which was Cynthia Alexander.
Okay.
She now owns one third of the acre on one side, and I own the other third of an acre on the opposite side. This is split in the middle. That's where this problem is with the double wide. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when it was originally hooked up, the well and septic was run off of 2203, which is the same address, but on the other quarter of an acre. It was split, okay?
Yep.
The well system is still on my side that I own. There is no well for this property in the center. It has been cut off. There is, the floors on the home is warped, bad. The roof is, it's needing roof, bad. The skylighting has got a gaping hole, approximately like this here. And he tells me, so well, we'll throw a shingle over it and let it go. No, it's still leaking. It's running from the outside downside of the roof into the house. It has to be. You got a downward slope. water's not gonna run uphill, it's gonna run down. And then you got problems with rodents out there. I killed a big groundhog 3 days ago where it was working alongside the house. I got him, he's gone. And then we got problems with the patio was in good shape till the bank took it over, and their workmen come in there and set a great big big generator, so they work on the house, because I cut the electricity off because we was out there. They come out there and set us out there.
So do you live on the third that you own?
I own, I live actually on 2203.
Okay.
There's a camper that's there that I'm staying in. It's a big size camper. And it's hooked up to the well and the septic. They both work just fine. And then the patio is a twisted motion in it. One side's all the way down. They've let it go and let it go to where it dropped down because they set the generator up on it. They caved it in, caved in the patio.
So what I'm hearing is it's just got a lot of problems.
If you want to take a look at some pictures, this here talk to you better than I can explain it to you.
Yeah, we'll take a look here.
There's
These pictures were taken yesterday.
now the what you're seeing there is that should be where the septic is. The septic's not even completely covered. And the reason the weeds are growing up through there because there's big dips in there where the tubing and stuff has never been completely covered. It's exposed. I've never seen a septic tank where it runs top of the ground. Even the porch where you check it out, clean it out at is plastic and they're on top of the ground,
Yeah.
which I feel is another hazard, you might say. Back at the barn, in behind the barn's a bunch of old wheels and trash piled back there. There's also, when they decide they want to move stuff, I was told you're not supposed to put nothing inside this home or inside the buildings until it was occupied.
So what's your suggestion?
Well, we're having trouble with rodents, one thing and another out there, and that nobody's putting no poison out. Nobody's, and the cats is, we got 4 or 5 of them running around there. They're not doing the job.
Yeah.
We also got thistles, and the farmers do not like thistles. They grow every year. I've sprayed and sprayed and sprayed over there, trying to get rid of those thistles.
Okay.
And we got cuckleburs growing upside the house. Mulberry trees, when they grow fast. There's one of them growing up in the foundation in the back of the house and into where the barn is.
Okay.
And
If he'll give you the mic.
My name is Jessica Stowers. I am the daughter of him and my mother. I have actually been away from the home for over 6 years, and I personally can say there has not been any type of improvement done to this home since we have moved out of it. If you see the septic system, my husband, he works for J1S Contracting, and I can assure you that that septic system has not been graded. It is dipped. It would not make, I guarantee you, whoever would come out and look at that would not sign off on it. To this point, now the house is becoming a hazard. Their house is being overran by rodents because of this home, and honestly, it needs to be condemned and tore down.
Okay.
Because
That's
I don't see any way that this house could be put back together. As cost effective it would be, it wouldn't even be worth putting back together. It just needs to be flattened out and move on. Honestly, I just don't see any point of keep going forward with it. And if it continues, their house is going to be ate up with mice, not the wiring, that puts their house at a high risk of, possibly a fire. My parents are in their higher ages. They're 70 and 60. So, that is a concern to me of their own welfare.
Was it the house that you could see in the picture, the white?
The house, if you look at one of the pictures, I'm more happy to point it out, how close in diameter where these homes are.
Yeah, that
There is a
was-
line fence, where you see, metal posts.
That one?
Yes, the White House,
Yeah.
that's how close in proximity they are together.
Okay.
So if there is a road hazard with several rodents, we're talking not only mice, but possible rats, that carries a lot of diseases. And again, it's their own welfare that I'm concerned with. So if this home, there is no way to get this home back. The floors are caving in. When you step onto the boards, they're so flimsy that it needs to be trashed. Honestly, it just needs to be burned.
Understand.
So, I'll give it back to him, so I'm sure he has more to say.
Do you have more? 'Cause
Sure
I feel
I
like
do. Sure I do.
I
The
feel
frame,
like-
the frame is in a twisted motion underneath where the piers is dropped. It was that way when the bank decided they was gonna take it from us. And I didn't go reset the piers due to that fact. That's what's giving it the motion on the roof and then making the floors. And there's no, you gotta keep a sub pump under it during the spring and the fall part of the year. There's not been one there for 5 years.
So,
and I-
what I
I'm
hear you
sorry.
saying, you're telling us a lot of technical stuff that's wrong with this property.
Right, there-
And I understand that.
Right.
But when I said, what's your suggestion, I think I got it from your daughter. It's to condemn the
Okay.
property, correct?
Well, I've maintained mowing the yard for the last 5 years,
Yeah,
keep things down,
What's the resolution is what he's asking.
so.
condemnation, that's what you said.
What is it that you want to be done to the property?
It's in bad shape, you know?
That's what you
I've
told
tried-
us.
I've tried to work out something with the guy that owns this thing, but he,
He's gonna get finished.
pardon me?
I'm telling her, you get a chance to finish.
Do your,
Okay,
Got 1 minute
1 minute, for what?
to finish up.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, there's problems out there and oh yeah, as far as the 2203 on some of the cars you're talking about, the trucks and the SUVs, and there's 2 cars and they belong to me. There is 2 that need 3. 3 actually needs plates on them. But there's one that's not going to be plated because of, it's a parts truck and it runs, it's movable. I do not leave nothing set around as junk. Once the parts is removed, it's taken to the scrap yards and disposed of.
Okay.
that's on his parcel.
That's inside the chain link fence. There's
Fall.
a chain link fence, 6-foot chain link fence all the way around that. And that will be disposed of once the parts are pulled.
Okay. All right. Liz. You,
Gonna do this. First off, Mr. Stowers, I would like to thank you for removing your vehicles from our property. And I thank you for mowing it as per the agreement that we had. If you're parking your vehicles there, that you would mow it. So we appreciate that. And if that's no longer the agreement, we are happy to take care of it. He's not wrong. It does need a lot of work. It is rehabable. I'm not sure how they would know if the floors are heaved or not without having been in it, but they are. He's not wrong, but they are fixable. It's a manufactured home. You can fix those things. We have not done improvements to the property primarily because it is not occupiable. And if we can get that part of it solved, then we are more than happy to put the money into fixing the home.
so what's your plan with it?
We've got to get the sign off for the easement. And then once we have that, we will rehab it and get it occupiable. We were going to move into it ourselves, but 5 years has passed, so we've got other housing, but we will probably rent it at that point.
Okay.
I have a question on that.
Question for me or question for her? Because if, well, then that's
Well,
separate,
actually
all
for
right?
you. So my question is, with this property, if she plans on making it rehabable, where's the set plan? Because in the last 5 years, she's had the opportunity to make this home housable and where someone can actually live in it. but there's no actual plan. She's just asking for an easement. Okay, what are you gonna do after the easement is what I'm wondering. Where's all this water coming from? This home, if you watch it in the spring, it has a big water underneath the house. There is no septic in it. I kid you, I am 5'2". The water will stand at knee high. You keep a house underneath water for a long period of time, the wood underneath it is going to warp, just like any other wood. I'm in the wood business. I know everything you could ever ask for.
Without electricity at the
hold on, hold on. So, I'll give her one more chance here, then we'll go to the board.
Without electricity at the property, we were not able to operate a sump pump to keep that from happening. And the water is not reaching the floor joists. It is water under the home, but it does not reach the floor joists.
Okay. All right, Liz, you got anything else you want to
Uh,
provide?
Only for the sake of clarification, yes, an easement is needed. You can't just run a tile and not have, any right to that in perpetuity in order to get the subdivision done. But before this can get any kind of building permits, even should the commissioners allow that, it does have to get a lot size variance again, and then it does have to get a subdivision complete, because now all three of these parcels are not legal splits. So this one has to deal with that before it can get permitting to be able to move forward. So I just wanted to make it clear, there is a process that will have to happen should the commissioners give it additional time. Of course, if you don't, then, we'll post whatever it is you want us to post at your pleasure.
What's your estimated time for those steps to be completed?
I can't speak as to an easement. I mean, usually if you have permission from a property owner, we see farmers give easements all the time. It's usually a matter of a few weeks for an attorney to draw up paperwork and get it recorded. But, whatever negotiations have to happen, I can't speak to that. That's a private party deal. But in terms of the hearings, if they were to file for that lot size variance, then you're roughly 1 month to get that done. And then the subdivision, usually a surveyor takes longer to prepare that plat than it takes for us to hear it. But again, from the time they file to the time they get approval, and then a secondary, maybe 6 weeks, but it's not uncommon for surveyors to take 3 to 6 months, depending on what their backlog is, to get a plat ready. So, you've got those components. Now, I don't know, they've had 5 or 6 years, so they may already have a plat prepared. That would certainly shorten the timeline. They knew what the process was, in 2020. So if they've already got some of that paperwork done, of course, that would make it quicker. From a hearing standpoint, we could get all of it through if it was filed efficiently, in under 3 months.
Okay. Any other questions?
How long has the variance been
A
expired?
variance is good for an initial year with 2 extensions. So that variance had a 3-year period in which it could be acted upon, which had they gotten the subdivision done, that would have been considered acting upon it, because then you've created a buildable lot of that approved size.
It's been expired for how long?
It's been expired for,
3 years?
yeah,
Years?
a few years. Yep. So it's not, and all variances are that way, not just this one. Just because a variance is permission to disobey the rules, the general idea is if one expires, a property should try to obey the rules if it's possible. So, if, say, somebody had a building sitting too close to a road and that building burned down, there should be a point of questioning to go, should it move back? When there's an opportunity to do that. So.
Any other questions? Commissioner Weaver?
No.
No? All right, thoughts? Thoughts from the board?
It's been we've had a long time here to get some progress.
We have. Well, what I would say is, I don't think the request of a year is something that we should consider because they've already had 5 years and there's not been much progress. But historically, we've always tried to give people a chance to revamp the property rather than condemnation, because at that point, you know, we're using taxpayer dollars to tear down a house, and it just has not been consistent with what we've tried to follow through the last couple of years. Now, it gets to a point, we'll give you like one more chance, and then after that, if it's not done, then we move forward. So that would be my suggestion, something like 6 months.
I would note as well that you do have sort of an intermediary option. You can, of course, you can just give a straight up extension. And of course, you can choose to direct us to start condemnation, but you can also do a dual motion where you give an extension, but you also start issuing fines, which you have not thus far done on this property. You could do a first fine, which of course will go with the tax bill, which then means, you could levy a second one if this came back to you again as well, and start increasing those costs, which will go against what has to be paid in taxes to hold ownership of the property.
You know, Mr. President, I agree with what you said in that this board would rather see somebody build a home and keep the home going as opposed to tear it down. We're not in a position of ripping and tearing down homes and so forth. We want to build up, not go down. That said, though, we hate to be a deterrent to neighbors and so forth. So my question to you is this something that you're going to take forward and do? I mean, are you going to make a commitment to us that these issues will be addressed a little bit? I mean, obviously the mowing or the rats or some poison would be easy to cure in 2 weeks. So I want to hear from you if in fact you're willing to do this and put it back in shape.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yes, start over with the mic, please.
yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. And this whole process was started before I was Mrs. Newton, and now that I'm Mrs. Newton, absolutely, we're going to get this taken care of.
Okay. Mr. President, I'm like you. I would suggest that we give an extension to 6 months. I think that we need to see vast improvement during that period of time, and I think we need to not have complaints about certain things that could be fixed or cured right away. So I'm willing.
I have an
Go ahead.
amendment to mine. What if we do based on what Liz said, we'll go 3 months for a progress report. If there's no progress at 3 months, we start issuing fines, and we go 6 months total, and at that point, we look towards condemnation.
I would make a motion of that effect.
Okay? All right.
As long as part of that is that you're going to act immediately for the rodents and to try to alleviate that. Then I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion to do a 6-month time extension. In total, we'll do a 3-month progress report, and we have a commitment from the current owner that they will take care of the rodents in particular immediately. So at 3 months, we'll start issuing fines on the property. Okay, motion, second, carries 3-0. All right? Yep.
Right, I think that was everything. You guys, it's coming up at a future meeting. I think that's everything I have. This other stuff is future meetings, unless you have anything else from me.
Do not.
No?
Okay,
You
thank
know
you.
where to find me if that changes.
Yep, very good.
Okay, thank
You're
you,
more than
folks.
welcome to leave. Yep.
See you,
Do you need
Jack.
any help?
Thank you.
See you, sir.
You want them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You can keep them if you want to.
They can have it. You'll have it back. That's fine. Thank you, though.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll go back to, we're past 9:15 now. We'll have Tom open our mowing bids.
First one is from Peyton Douglas, it looks like, and there are a number of properties that all have prices on, so I'll just open it up, say who we got from.
Yeah.
Compile
Yeah.
the list
Yep.
later, okay? Second one, it looks like this one. Will be from Elite Lawn and Landscaping, and they've also quoted several of all the properties. And the last one's Smith Lawn Care.
They've also put, done all the properties as well.
Okay, so 3 bids. We'll compile those, take them under consideration,
yeah.
advisement, and then make a selection at our next meeting. So I'll
So
entertain the
moved.
motion. All right, motion.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. All right, we'll move on to old business, and we have bridge number 60 bid. Anything you want to walk us through with this, Rick, in particular?
Just, we'd like to accept the bid as is.
This is civil coating and construction. Does that
Yes.
sound right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. For $681,658.50.
Right.
Okay, this is Bridge 60 rehabilitation and repair. Do I have a motion to accept this bid?
Move to accept the bid on Bridge 60.
Okay, motion. Anything from Bert?
Or, I'm sorry, I was writing and,
Bridge 60 rehabilitation bid, civil coating and construction,
the amount was 681.
$681,658.50.
Is there another bid or were there other dollar
This
amounts
was only,
mentioned?
we had one bid.
One bid.
One bid to do that type of work.
Yep.
Not very many people do that type of work.
Okay, I will second
All right.
Kevin's first.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0, sorry. All right, next we have, we talked about it a little bit at our last meeting, our EMS, increase to the private insurance building. Do you just kind of want to walk us through it again one more time? Stephen?
Yep.
This way all the people watching on YouTube can hear it first.
Okay, good morning. In January, it took effect that a new bill allows EMS agencies to bill up to 400% of the Medicare rates to private insurance companies. And so my recommendation is that we increase our standard rates to capture more of our private insurance without penalizing the community members. And so when we receive payment from Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance, we'll call it at that. And we will not go after the individual for any of the outstanding, because this is going to be a pretty significant increase.
Yep.
So,
Okay,
I'm personally very much for it, so I'd like to make the motion that we take it, and my suggestion is that we go to the 400%.
And I will second that.
all right, motion carries 3-0.
thank you.
Move that forward. Next, we have Envoy Pay App number 16, Annex and Courthouse. The current one for the annex is for $1,287,000 and $64.11. Apologize there. That's for the annex, and the other is for the courthouse for $133,537.39. I have a motion to approve the 2 pay apps.
I'll make a motion to approve. We can do both of them at the same
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay. Motion to do that.
Second.
All right, motion carries for the payouts. Next, we have approval of our elected official bonds. Usually these are done a little earlier in the year. I will note that all the bonds have been in place since January 1st, so there was no lapse in coverage during this time period. I'll just go through all of them. We have Edward Kripe, Gina Bretnacher, Britt Osler, Stephanie Harshbarger, Kylie Mitchell, and Richard Kelly are all of the bonds to approve. Do I have a motion to approve the 6 bonds?
And all are the same amount.
No, they're not. Richard Kelly's is $30,000, Kylie Mitchell is $15,000, Stephanie Harshbarger $50,000, Britt Osler $30,000. The treasurer's is obviously higher. Gina Bretnacher's is $300,000, and Edward Kreitz is $15,000. So those are the amounts to all of those. Any other questions?
Do we feel that those are adequate in each position, or do we need to review those dollar amounts?
I think they meet the statutory minimum is where they're at the moment. So
To include the treasurer as a minimum?
yeah, I believe it has to be at 300,000 if the information that I was shared with is accurate. So, any other questions or comments?
No, I'll make the motion to approve the bond.
Okay, motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 on the bonds. We'll get those signed. The next item is the nepotism ordinance revisited. I had put on here, this relates to, Kevin is new, so he's kind of getting up to speed, but we had talked about this in August of '23, about ours becoming more consistent with what needs to happen at that position with the sheriff's office as well as with the coroner's office. We're one of the last counties that does not have this in place, and so I put this on here for two reasons, really. The main one being, as we're at that point where we have candidates starting to try and declare to run for sheriff in '27, we need to show them what the rules of the game are going to be rather than waiting till the last second. So as I mentioned, we had this out in the summer of '23. It's being reworked to update the dates. Should have a draft here in the next probably month, 2 weeks to a month for us to consider. So I would say at one of our next 2 or 3 meetings, we can move forward with this to adopt something going forward. So
Okay.
what we need to consider is what timing we want to put in place with this. So if we want it to take effect immediately, if we want it to take effect at the beginning of '27, those type of considerations. So don't have anything today with it other than just mentioning it so that it's on the radar and we know what's coming with it.
Okay.
Okay? All right, we'll move on to our new business. We have a Board of Health board appointment to do, and I believe she is here today. That is Miss Chelsea Smith, is that correct? Anything, I guess, you'd like to tell us about yourself or say this morning, if you could go to the podium? I knew you weren't looking forward to that.
I was not, but I have been a registered nurse for approximately 9-10 years. I served active duty in the Navy, and I did a total of 8 years in the Navy. Now I'm looking to help better advocate and outreach for patients and, as you guys can imagine, my healthcare teammates, considering we're going through a pretty trivial time and it's only gotten worse since COVID's happened. And I want to be the advocate that a lot of us didn't have when we were younger. So
Okay.
I feel this is a good step in the right direction for all of our patients, considering I've gone from a trauma nurse to now working in mental wellness and addictions.
And resident of Mulberry, right? Okay. Any questions from the board before we would make this appointment?
No, I have none.
I have no questions, but I appreciate you stepping forward and wanting to help us going forward. So I appreciate the volunteerism that you've done.
Thank you.
Look forward to hopefully a good term.
Yep. Okay. So it's a 4-year term, so you're aware. But I'll, with that, if there's no other questions, I will entertain a motion to appoint Chelsea Smith to the Board of Health.
I'll very happily make that motion.
Okay?
No, second that motion.
All right, motion
you, gentlemen.
carries 3-0.
My condolences now.
All right, next we have easement for a stop sign in Rossville. Do I have anything, or is that just mentioned? All right. Tom, do you want to run us through this? I think they had reached out to you, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah, I was reached out to by the attorney for the city of Rossville in reference to granting, there's an easement that runs through our right-of-way that they would like to have for a stop sign. And I know I sent it to all three.
Yeah.
I didn't see any issue with it. My recommendation would be to grant that easement.
Okay. Any other questions? I think it makes sense from what they sent over, so entertain a motion to.
Make the motion that we grant the easement for the Rossville stop sign as requested.
I'll approve. I'll second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. Next, sign placement request. Have 4 of them today. Friends of the Frankfurt Public Library, it'll be for 30 days, starting today. No, the date of the event is May 9th, so roughly April 9th to May 9th. I have New Beginning Ministry, their pork chop dinner. Date of the event is April 12th. They would like 8 days. The Department of Children's Services, for their child abuse awareness. This is where they put the pinwheels on the lawn. They've done this in the past. And it's roughly from April 3rd for 30 days. And lastly, Frankfurt Middle School for their Spring Fling Craft Show, starting on April 5th, and again, approximately for 30 days. There's no issue with any of those. We can do it as one motion.
Motion to approve all of them.
Okay.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 to approve the sign request. Next, I have department heads. Have any department heads? Brett? Renee? You're on deck. Sheriff? Yep, in the hole.
Just an update on our building saga. Our current landlord is willing to let us walk and void our lease. Potential landlord would like us in as soon as possible. I've negotiated a May 1st start, but he would let us go in and do the renovations immediately. We also have individuals on our program that are skilled in certain trades that are willing to do that work for free for us. So that's a benefit too. Tom has reviewed the lease. He's okay with that. We would still like to add right of first refusal to that when they do go to sell it. So that's where we're at. I guess I just need your go-ahead that we can move forward.
Did you say that they will allow you to go in immediately? then?
Yes, as long as I can, willing to sign the lease as of May 1st. I've also talked with Tim at ACCS. I know they're going to be smothered with the new building. If we can get our work done prior to them being over there, they might be able to do what we need on the data side. If not, we'll have maybe an overlap of a month between both buildings, and they can come in maybe in early June then and finish up the new building for us.
You had me concerned when you started out with the word saga.
It's been that way for us.
This sounds pretty good.
My point of view, though, yeah.
But in result, sounds like. this
Yeah,
is
I'm
where
very
we wanna
happy the way
go.
things are
Okay.
laying out. And
All right.
Very pleased that our current landlord understands our situation.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the downfall in what you told me, and it all sounded like it was
Yeah.
work out really well for everyone. So I think it's great if we can get that accomplished, and if Tom's good with the lease, I'm good to go. So entertain a motion if you gentlemen would like.
I'm good. I will make the motion that we accept Mr. McDonald's lease proposal, and I think that it'll be a good thing for you too. So motion made.
Second.
Okay.
All right, much appreciated. Contract for you guys to sign?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll
Yeah,
verify.
to us.
We'll do.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just an update, QPH completed the install of that condenser unit on, I believe, the 7th, so on Friday, week and a half ago. So they installed it Thursday and connected everything Friday, so it's all completed and that's been taken care of.
Good. Everything good to go.
Yes, yes. So other than that, I'll keep you posted this spring as we move forward. Just so everybody knows, I was in contact with the commissioners. We had a very large amount of grass fires due to it being dry and windy conditions, and unfortunately, people sometimes making poor decisions. Burning trash was the majority, and those were becoming, like, we had like 17 last Friday after I'd emailed you guys. I think we had 2 or 3 more Friday, but, you know, luckily we got some rain. But I think moving forward, you know, I'll definitely, nobody's going to know more than me probably how many calls we're having. So I'll keep you posted if I think there's something that we need to do moving forward.
Yep. And just to comment on that, because I had someone reach out to me, a citizen wanting us to put a burn ban in place. We're in constant contact with Central Dispatch, EMA, the fire department, and we always are gonna take their recommendation because they're kind of the boots on the ground. And at the time, there was no recommendation to put a burn ban in place. Even if we do that, the challenge is the enforcement, right? The sheriff's department's dealing with real crimes, not worrying about people burning stuff. So at the end of the day, we just really got to use common sense. And if it's a little dry and it's a little windy, how about we don't burn stuff? It seems pretty simple to me, but I understand it's not always that simple for everyone else. So, but going forward, again, there's a process to put the burn ban in place. We will take those recommendations. We have to do it in either a special meeting or public meeting. Just can't say at the snap of the fingers that burn ban's in place, but we will always rely upon those that are out there in the field. So,
I don't have anything else unless you have anything for me. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Sheriff?
Just a couple things, and on the burn information, we're happy to share whatever the commissioners decide on the sheriff's app and, you know, all the social media platforms that people follow. So I think it'll be easy enough, but common sense is sometimes hard to dictate. At the facility, we're replacing a floor in the cooler. It sounds simple, but it's pretty difficult to find fabricators that'll come in and do it in-house. So we're going to try and avoid replacing the walk-in cooler at the sheriff's office if we can just get the floor replaced. We had our Department of Corrections inspection last week. We're waiting on the results to come back from the inspection, which I think is it's all fine. There's some repairs that we need to do, like the cooler. One other new over the weekend, the control board that controls the doors to the facilities. We've talked about it, I think, in the years past, and that we've had some issues with the control board. So we're getting an estimate on repair, and we'll get and we found a local vendor here in Clinton County that is able to do the automation and do some work on it. So he's going to take a look at it, give us an estimate for repair, and then also an estimate on replacement, and we'll ask for, we'll check with some other companies, see if they'll give us an estimate. I do not know how much it costs, but I'm going to guess it's in the $15,000 to $30,000 range just to repair the board or replace or repair the board.
You think a full replacement would be that low, or you think it'll be, if we do, or probably six figures, I'm guessing, right? I mean, because you got a lot of doors.
We've got
This is every cell door?
well over 100 doors. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what's
So-
the issue? Is they're opening when they're not supposed to, or?
Well, no.
Okay.
There's a fail-safe. The doors will stay locked.
Okay.
And I'll kind of explain what the facility managers, our corrections officers, had to do this weekend. Basically, you have the old days when we called our folks turnkeys. They had to carry a rattle of keys around with them, and you have to physically unlock each door. So 30 some inmates opening every door to let them out to eat and let them back in, different things. I mean, we rely heavily on electronic and automated things. So they'll always stay locked. There's no fear of them opening and releasing anything or a person that shouldn't be. But so the replacement of the board, we'll get both costs.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. And the local vendor, Kyle Knowles, I think he's done some work at other facilities, and he does. That's his job is robotics and the automation of different services. So he's going to give us a shot and tell us what he thinks he can do, and then we'll check with some other vendors in that. So as far as the water leak, I think in dispatch we kind of addressed it, but we'll give it the next couple months. We'll see what leaks when we get a little more rain over the next couple months. So we'll keep our eyes and get our maintenance staff to address whatever we need.
Okay. Yeah, just let us know when you get the quotes, and we can
Absolutely
put a plan and move
That's
forward.
all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
Nope.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Anyone else? Steven?
Super fast. Megan Holiday passed her paramedic exam, so she is now going through orientation as a paramedic. And with your permission, I'd like to hire an EMT to fill that position. So,
hire an EMT to fill the position that she went to
She's-
paramedic, so you
Yep.
need a new EMT.
Yep.
Okay. No change to job description or anything?
Nope.
Just, all right.
Feel good.
Entertain a motion to.
So
approve.
moved.
All right, second. Motion carries 3-0.
Get it moved.
Thank you.
Tell her congratulations.
Anyone else? All right, seeing none. I'll move on to commissioner reports. Commissioner Weaver.
Really not a lot. I do know, Mr. Jordan, that I've received numerous phone calls about the trash along Frankfurt all the way to Mulberry. And I know that you've addressed it with them, but I just want the public to know we've been addressing and working on that. And I think that the answer was that you secured some promises from them. So I think that hopefully that'll be resolved a little bit.
Yeah, so they, again, we take this complaint, but we don't have a lot of ability to enforce the trash. They're on the trucks going to the landfill. In any conversation you have with them, they're always going to push back and say that they don't own the truck, so they can't enforce it. And then we have really no enforcement to go penalize them or anything. So they did tell me they have hired 2 full-time, or in the process and finalizing and hiring 2 full-time employees that their whole job is to maintain, I'm guessing it's probably only from the north edge of Frankfurt to the landfill on 39, that stretch. I have an idea someone had shared with me that I think I may try and throw out to them. Maybe they could entertain working with some of our local athletic departments or schools and just, donate to them some money to come have a pickup day along that stretch. Because even down south, they seem to not be able to tarp, and it's pretty thick along 39. So I'll keep in constant communication, but again, I feel the frustration, and I feel it real direct because I'm going to spend a whole day picking it up out of my own fields. So it doesn't go without, individual having to do it. But for our standpoint, we just have no real enforcement to make sure that they do what they say they're going to do.
I would like to suggest that the sheriff and his deputies, if in fact they see a truck with the doors open and blasting paper filled right ahead, then I think you may have the bigger stick than anybody. If they get 3 or 4 tickets, that word will get passed around pretty quick. So,
I'll have conversation with the state police and the commercial motor vehicle division. And the difficult thing is how much time do you dedicate to just following one trash truck? And it's difficult. And once you get the wins that we get here in in Clinton County, it's difficult, but it is addressable by officers that are out there and can visibly see that it is a state statute that has the ability to be written by any police officer. So diligence on that, and our deputies will give it.
I appreciate it, and I know that you can. It's a frustrating thing for everybody, but appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, anything else, Commissioner?
That is all for myself.
Okay.
I have nothing other, the only thing I had heard was about the trash.
Okay. I don't have any commissioner report, but I do want to talk about Clinton Prairie boys basketball. Right, won our first sectional since '82. Won the regional over the weekend, and just talk about the community support because there was probably 4,000 people there, I'm guessing, roughly in a 5,500 seat arena. And there was not that many Central Catholic fans. And so that just shows the type of community we have. Now they're on their way to play in the semi-state. 2 games play Saturday at noon for anyone interested, and then hopefully play at 8 p.m. This will be if we can take care of that, this will be the first time since 2001-2 when Rossville boys basketball won state that county school would be in the state championship. And I do want to give one shout out. Our clerk, Stephanie Harshbarger, has 2 sons on the team, Kyle and Ryan. And for those that watched the game or were at the game, the pivotal point in overtime happened at about 2 minutes and 30 or 40 seconds. And her son, Ryan Harshbarger, Prairie's down 2, hits a 3 in the corner. And that put them up 1, and they didn't trail the rest of the game. So those boys will appreciate everybody's support Saturday at noon.
At Lafayette.
At Lafayette,
At Lafayette.
Yep. So short drive over for anyone, and I think there'll be plenty of tickets available. Arena's 7,200. So, but thank you. Move on to our board business. we have claims from Friday, March 7th, in the amount of $32,161.67. Claims from March 14th in the amount of $22,204.92. A biweekly from March 18th in the amount of $922,705.16. A court claim from March 18th in the amount of $43,993.03. And lastly, an EMT practical claim from March 12th in the amount of $2,520. Do I have a motion to approve those five
Motion to
claims?
approve the claims.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0. Next, we have payroll from February 21st in the amount of $599,803.36.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. Lastly, we have our minutes from our previous meeting on March 4th. Any changes to that or amendments?
No, that was good.
All right.
Second.
All right, motion carries 3-0 on the minutes. Our next meeting will be on April 1st. Any other business to come before us this morning? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right,
Second.
thank you.